Hi everyone, this is Karen. I'm your instructor for CIT 173 Intro to Linux at College of Southern Nevada. What I'm going to show you in this video is how to log into our Netlab server here at CSN so that you can complete the lab assignments. So all lab assignments are over in the module section. Pretty much everything I assign you will be in modules, so it's a good idea to just follow modules week by week and you'll know what to complete, what assignments to complete, discussions, such things like that. So you're going to have labs and guided exercises. These labs and guided exercises are going to be using the Netlab server, the Red Hat System Administrator content. Okay, there's a special lab environment set up on our Netlab server so that you can complete these labs. The easiest way to go is to click on the lab. I have the PDF file here. You can download and use that file and follow it step by step. However, you have to log into the server and get all the internal virtual machines started before you can do these labs. So right here, I have this lab downloaded off to the side here, so we'll go ahead and move that over. Okay, so you have your lab over here, and we can start completing this lab later. We'll do that in the next video, but the first part will just show you how to access and log in to the Netlab server. So let's go ahead and get a new tab open. Let's go to netlab1.csn.edu. You're going to log in with your student ID. I'm using my first initial last name, but you'll log in with your student ID, which starts with 5000 or something like that, your NCHI ID, and then your password to start. I set it. If you did not already have a Netlab account in our CSN Netlab server, it is netlab123, so NETLAB 123. So I'll log in my account. When you first log in, the system should have you actually reset your time zone. So make sure you set it to Pacific. The system likes to default to Eastern, and that'll affect your lab reservation capability. So I already have a lab open here. I did not end that reservation, so I'm going to go ahead and start a new one. So let me go ahead and get in there. I'm going to end my reservation now. Okay, so basically this is what it's going to look like when you first log in. You're going to log in and you're going to create a new lab reservation. You're going to schedule a lab for yourself. You're going to pick the class that you should have a set of classes that you're a part of. Your instructor would put you in the class that you have access to, so you should already be in there. So click CIT 173 Ahern Fall 2020 in this case, or whatever the semester currently is. Okay. This is just a bunch of lab content in here. You're not necessarily assigned to complete all of this stuff. This is the main pod that we're going to be working with for this class. It's the RH124, which is the first half of the Red Hat System Administrator training. So all of the labs and guided exercises for the most part will be in here. So click that. And then you can click Access Red Hat Content. Then you're going to see the reservation system here. You're going to select a pod. So there was some expired, like that's the reservation I just ended. You can see right there. If you're not in the right time zone, this will not work. It'll be 9 o'clock Eastern time, something like that. It'll tell you right here. So just make sure your time zone's correct. These are all pods. There's physical equipment behind all of this and virtual machines behind all of these pods. So we have to allocate, there's only so much space, compute, memory that we can allocate. So make sure that there should be a pod open. We should be fine for this class. You can pick any one of them. I'll pick this third one just as long as it's open. Pick right underneath the red line if you want to start your reservation right now. Generally, it's going to give you some default length. You can make it longer if you want to do more than one lab. Usually 30 minutes is about enough for most labs. Sometimes you might want an hour just to be safe, and you can do that here. Okay, so we'll go ahead and hit submit. And then you'll have your reservation number, which I need to see at the end of your lab. Okay, now you should see that you have a lab to enter with your name on it. It should be Red Hat, usually. So the pod will take a minute or two to open up. It really depends on your internet connection and the server. The server's pretty beefy, so it shouldn't take too long, but you never know. So usually that pod will take a second. Okay, so now we're in the Red Hat lab. You're only going to see this one particular machine. This machine's our portal into all of the other machines behind the scenes. So what right here, if you ever forget how to initially start up the lab, you can access this lab content. I'm going to open it in a new window. We'll just put it over to the side. Let's minimize that, put it to the side here. Okay, we'll follow it. Right, and then the first thing you're going to do is open up Foundation. And now right here, when you open up Foundation, it's booting up. It's a virtual machine that's booting up. Now it's ready to go. Usually you can undock this from the main login screen here. I'm going to go ahead and do that because it's easier. I'm going to also get rid of this guided exercise and let's go back to our instructions. So over here, this is basically where it's going to tell you how to actually access the lab environment. So you can scroll through to about page, oh, I don't know, let's see here. Okay, here's the information. Usually the information on the machines are there. Foundation 0. Username is kiosk. Password is Red Hat. So you'll log in to that. And then down here, this is just showing you what you need to do each time you log in. Here's where your ebook is. You can access your labs through here, through this website. After you go into my announcements in the course and register for your book, then you'll be able to you'll create an account and log in on Gilmore to get your book for free. You can download a PDF if you wanted to, but you have to pay for it, or you can order a hard copy. So you don't want to do that probably. You're going to just want to use the ebook because it's free. So we try to make sure that if we can get course materials for you all for free, that's what we try to do and save some of your money. Okay, so generally the second page is the important page once you're logged in. So what you're going to need to do every single time is run this little script. So how do we do that? We're going to use the command line interface. This is the GUI. So you're going to go up here to Activities, click on the terminal, because in IT, especially if you're going to be a system administrator or if you're a programmer, you have programming experience, you actually probably already are familiar with command line interfaces. This is our terminal, and inside here is the bash shell. This is our command interpreter. We're going to interact with the CLI versus the GUI, the graphics editor here. So the machine we're on right now is called Kiosk, is the username. Foundation 0 is the actual name of the computer. So what we're going to do right now is run this script that will start all of the other virtual machines that we need to complete our labs. So that script is rht-vmct, and you can hit tab. Some tab completion will complete that script. That script is available here, so you'll be able to if you hit tab, it'll complete the command if the command can be found, and then give you a nice space. You always have to have a space in between your commands, options, and arguments. We'll talk more about that later. So you're going to say start, because we're going to start all the machines, all. And so you should see these 4 machines start: Bastion, Workstation, Server A, and Server B. So generally you're going to be working with Server A or Server B. Usually you're going to SSH into Workstation first. For most labs, the very first lab, you're not going to do that, but make sure you always make sure that these machines start. You always have to run this, log into Foundation, run this start script. The reason why I'm talking right now is these machines are all virtual machines that have to boot. So generally after that, you're going to SSH into Student at Workstation, which is this machine. So SSH is Secure Shell. It's a protocol that allows you to remotely connect to another machine on your own network or the internet, if it's available, if that machine is available on the internet. In this case, this is there's no internet connection to these machines internally. They can't get out to the network. There's an internal network here. So we're going to log in with the student user at Workstation. Sometimes there's an extra. Sometimes when you type, there'll be an extra characters coming in. Sometimes that happens on the Netlab server here. So it's kind of a normal little glitch that's on there. Hopefully it won't be too bad. But this will basically allow you to connect to Workstation. So this is pretty much what you're going to do every single time you log in. Okay, so I talked long enough to give it Workstation enough time to boot. If you get a error right here after you SSH that says no route to host, That just means that you didn't give Workstation a long enough time to boot. So make sure you give it about as much time as I just did now to boot. So now we're logged into Student at Workstation. So from here you would start most of your labs. In the case of the very first guided exercise that we would do in this class, we'll do that in the next lab, you're going to actually use the GUI in this case to reset the password. So we won't do that right now. We'll do that in another video. When you're completed your lab, there's going to be a script that you're going to run at the end of the lab. Generally, the lab will tell you which script to run. Let's see here. There's the lab. So here's the first lab, the first guided exercise. So in this case, we're going to log in to Workstation as student using student. So this right here says on Workstation at the GNOME login screen. You're going to log in. So this is another machine I'll show you in a minute, or in the next video. But generally at the end of these labs, there's a script that you run on Student at Workstation. That's really important that you run that because it will actually verify that you did everything you needed to do in the lab. So make sure you do that because I'm going to want a screenshot of that finished script with your reservation and all that completely done. So we'll go ahead and do this exercise in the next video, and we'll go ahead and log out of this machine. So we'll pretend like we just finished this lab. We'll go ahead and log out there, close the terminal. We'll go ahead and close this machine. Right here, we can go back to our Netlab. You can end the reservation now. If you need more time, the system will prompt you. If you're running out of time, you can request more time. It'll give you something like 15 or 30 minutes more. You can change exercises. In the case of the Red Hat Labs, this doesn't really apply, but generally you want to end your reservation once you're done. Okay, and then you are done. So then make sure you log out. Okay, in the next video, we'll go over the first guided exercise and I will show you how to complete it.